Y'all, Wizard101 just had their first day on console. Yes, if you're watching this right now and you want to play Wiz, if you have an Xbox or PlayStation, you can now play Wizard101 on console for the first time ever. Now, Wiz's first day, there was a lot of things that happened that we need to talk about in this video, including something that they're doing on console servers that they've never done on Wiz ever before. But before we get into that interesting tidbit, let's talk about how their first day went. One, they put out a really cool trailer, so I do think there's a real marketing push. Anyone that's interested in Wiz or follows Wiz will get this on their feed. Really cool trailer, just announcing all of it, and I think a lot of people have been very hyped. As far as the server health, that's something that I think a lot of people were immediately concerned about. There was a lot of initial lag. I saw this screenshot going around my Discord server and all of that. Apparently, everyone that's loading in is being loaded into Ambrose, and because it's so many more people than I think they were expecting, you need to switch realms if you're encountering a ton of lag. I think there's just so many areas on Ambrose server that being in it will inevitably cause lag. I've heard that either switching realms or resetting your save data on console can work. I can't vouch for the second method. Definitely the first method if you're dealing with any server issues, if you're an early console player. But now we need to talk about what I'm inevitably gonna put into the thumbnail and all of that, because this is something that is unique to console, probably because of, I guess, the provisions regarding Xbox, PlayStation. They probably have like rules and regulations, but for the first time ever, things that drop items randomly, right? Things that we call them packs in live realm. These now come with a preview that actually tells you the drop rate for individual items. Now, I currently don't have a console, so I can only take screenshots from other people that have been able to find them. But these are some examples, and I think they're super relevant. This is a picture of the Gulcher's Horde pack. This one item, the Balance Gulcher, is a 1 out of 350 drop from this pack. Now, if you don't know what a Gulcher is, it is like a damage stat mount. There's one for every school other than Balance, because Balance's is a universal one. But these are pretty cool, right? Every school gets a 3% extra damage mount. Balance gets a 2% universal one. For you to get any Gulcher from one of these packs, on average, based on the fact that there are 7 schools and they're going to drop somewhat equally, you're expecting 50 packs from this. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I don't think I personally would value 3 damage, definitely not 2 universal damage, at 50 packs times the 399 crowns you have to pay per pack. This would have actually impacted whether I purchased this growing up, if I'm being honest. The other one that I think is super crazy, another stat mount, except this one's the infamous set bonus mount that you get for opening the Primeval pack. Now, this is also essentially one of 3 mounts, so like the Gulchers, you expect 50 packs to get one of these. I'd actually argue that the Stompy Bronto specifically is even more relevant, because a lot of people, they get this, right? If you run a pet with this, you can get extra 5 damage to any school, extra 8 damage to 5, right? It's a very important gear set pet that a lot of people open up that pack for. It's one of the most pay-to-win items, because there's no other way to get this mount and get access to that extra damage just for running this with a pet that also gives you that set bonus, if that makes sense, right? This is a high-demand item. You would expect to open up 50 packs for this, something that I think would affect people purchasing this. Some other examples I saw were like Spellaments. I guess like each Spellament from the Spellamental Pharaohs pack, like, I guess has a 1 in 6 chance of dropping, so 1 in 6 packs. And considering there's all these, you know, Spellaments that you can get, that's actually not that bad. You'll accumulate them. And if you're opening up lore packs that drop lore Spellaments, it's 1 in 3, right? If it's 3 Spellaments, so like, it's like every pack will drop a Spellament. It's just which one it'll drop is the randomness of it all, right? But all of these examples give consumers way more clarity. Now, I don't think Wiz would have done this on console servers unless there's some sort of thing within the terms of service of PlayStation or Xbox for how microtransactions should work on their platform. But I love this, y'all. Honestly, I think they should put this on Wiz on PC. A lot of people, they have a problem with packs because they never know what they're getting into, because you could open up packs endlessly. There have been talks about a pack pity system where if you open up enough packs, it drops reagents that you could later redeem for specific items. So you're kind of guaranteed eventually to get what you want from a pack. While there have been talks of that, that is not a thing. And even still, I would still want that feature, plus the transparency of knowing what the actual drop rate of an item is. Now, I don't think anyone's gotten so far in console servers to actually test this out, but I would want to see if they're doing this with second chance chests as well, right? That's another thing. You could open up a lot and you would never really know if you're going to get the item that you're farming for. However, if you know the drop rate, it might impact which chests you open, which chests you don't. And honestly, in the case of second chance chests, you might just more strategically spend the same amount of crowns, but in different chests if you have the transparency. So I don't even think that specifically is a bad idea for Wiz if they're just trying to save guap. I'm going to assume because second chance chests go up the more you roll them, therefore even more gambling-like compared to a pack. I'm gonna assume they also have a preview feature that shows your percent drop rate of anything, which will also give us for the first time, probably anyways, numbers on the drop rates for when you farm a boss with or without a chest, right? That type of info is crazy. Like, you might start to get an idea of how many runs of Hades you might want to do for an Amulet of Divine, for example, right? Actual info on some of the rarest drops in game, kind of nuts if you ask me. Now, there's another thing that we somewhat mentioned the last time. I mean, I covered console, you know, launch like about a week ago when they said when it was launching officially, but this is officially here. There is also a bundle that you could purchase for just $20, where instead of buying membership, you could just buy the first 5 worlds. So you could, for $20, basically quest all the way through Dragonspire. This is yet another purchasable option, or like, I guess just a form of purchase on consoles that we don't have on PC. A much more consumer-friendly way to get a taste of the game. It reminds me of how expansions work on games that have DLCs, where you make one-time payments instead of memberships, and it might actually be something that a lot of people would consider over something like membership, which somewhat archaic, if you ask me. It's somewhat. Now, added onto this, Wiz is also doing a console world's first event, and it's basically like a competition where they're also making it so that the people that get the furthest in console the earliest, I guess, get a really cool reward. Now, the way this works, right, the person that finishes Arc 1 first, Arc 2 first, Arc 3, Arc 4, they're getting different amounts of crowns. It's actually going from 30,000 crowns all the way up to 60,000 crowns for the final arc. They did say only one wizard will be rewarded this, so if you do it with a team, which I'm gonna assume everyone's gonna be doing it on a team, you have to figure out how to split it, which I think is kind of stupid, because how do you even decide who gets the crowns if you have 4 people in your fight when you defeat Malister? I feel like they gotta be much more clear about this whole thing. Now, is this ridiculously stingy from Wizard101 as usual? I would say yes. It's literally your console launch. Why not give, if you're on a team, everybody that got to the end of the arc the 30,000 crowns, for example, for beating Arc 1. Let's also keep this in mind. The big elephant in the room that has come up in every console conversation. There is no crossplay, meaning there's no high levels on console servers. There's no pet kiosks on console servers. The bazaar doesn't even have items yet in console servers. But everything that goes with having high levels in a community and just a lot of people in a community already over a long period of time, all of the advantages of that, they're not in console. Meaning the first few people to beat an arc, that is very hard, in my opinion. So if they're on a team, all people should be rewarded. They did the same thing with the damn Darkmoor contest, where they expect a bunch of people to farm Darkmoor gear, and yet it's only one winner. Whoever gets the most Darkmoor gear drops, I guess, for this contest until the Darkmoor test run drops, they get like a bundle. This little one winner nonsense when it comes to crowns, which they can literally not lose money by giving away unless it's a prospective purchaser, if you really think about it, right? Like, it's not like you're giving away physical merchandise that definitely costs money. Like, it's just crowns. Like, why not have multiple winners, at least for a console launch? All in all, other than that and the slightly questionable server health, I would actually say it's going pretty decent, this whole console launch. I'm very excited to see some immediate positives that we've never experienced on PC with things like the transparent drop rates. But yeah, y'all, I definitely wanted to make this video in case y'all wanted an update on, I guess, console first day. We still don't yet have an update on what the situation is with Nintendo Switch. They haven't said anything extra since the official launch of console on Xbox and PlayStation. The original plan, of course, was to have all 3 launch on the same day. I'm gonna assume similar to how they had to have like drop rates all transparent on the console servers for Xbox and PlayStation. There's probably other rules that they have to follow, maybe things that Nintendo was going to insist on, especially if Wiz is going to be a free-to-play game. But let me know y'all's thoughts on all of this. I look forward to reading y'all's thoughts on everything that's different about console servers. Drop a like if you enjoyed, leave a sub, and as always, if somebody hasn't told you you're awesome today, they doing something wrong. Stay awesome, y'all. See y'all soon, and yeah.